Hello there! I'm Adeep, and today I'll be talking about my encounter with fear of failure. In school, I've always been one of the best students academically, and I've taken part in a lot of extracurricular activities as well. There haven't been subjects that I've strongly disliked, and I'd say I've secured top grades in every subject. And I have an exciting story to share on this one. In Nepal, there is a massive difference between the academic structure of grade 10 and grade 11. Grade 11 demands way more effort and dedication as it deals with the intricate details of every subject. So, for example, physics. Till grade 10, we were taught the fundamentals of this subject: introduction to gravity, Newton's universal law of gravitation, law of flotation, and a bit of astronomy. These were the things that we very frequently dealt with. But in grade 11, things are totally different. Physics alone is divided into four subdivisions. Now, this depends from school to school, and my school divides physics into four different subdivisions, and they are Mechanics 1, Mechanics 2, Electricity and Magnetism, and Heat and Thermodynamics. So in grade 10, science is a single subject, and you sit for one examination for science as a whole. And it contains questions from physics, chemistry, and biology. But in grade 11, it's a totally different case. There's a clear difference between grade 10 and grade 11, and many students have difficulty adapting to this new system. I too had a hard time coping with this. Having always seen myself as one of the best students in class, I could not believe that I was having a hard time dealing with my junior year in high school. I've always been one of the best students in class. This should not be hard for me, is what I frequently told myself. I had a misconception that things will always move the same way, and the effort I put in grade 10 will be sufficient for grade 11 as well. That's where I went wrong. I didn't fully realize the difference between grades 10 and 11. The whole COVID 19 pandemic situation added fuel to the fire. I nearly had around 6 months of hiatus from school between grades 10 and 11, and I somewhat lost the habit of studying then. I wouldn't say I wasted those 6 months as I got involved in regular basketball training, cycling, and community service, but certainly the break from school kind of took me away from the scheduled studying that happened in school. So this made it even harder for me to adapt to grade 11 as I wasn't habituated to regular classes for around 6 months. Suddenly, I found myself surrounded by so many complicated things: different laws of physics, mechanisms of different difficult chemical reactions, and detailed structures of various living things. And all this at the same time. Meanwhile, I got infected with the coronavirus. Ah, what a terrible time it was. Simply terrible. Thoughts like, how will I go past all this? Will I even be able to do so? Became so common. I just could not focus on my studies, and it was not even due to lack of willingness. It was one of those situations where I started losing self confidence. Previously, if I could stay up till midnight trying to find answers to different questions, even after multiple unsuccessful tries, now I couldn't. After a few unsuccessful attempts at solving questions, I got cranky and just wanted to run away from all this. Deep down, I was worried about failure. I was more concerned about what people around me would think if they see me struggling. What if they call me a failure? What if they label my achievements as a fluke? Those were the things continuously revolving around my head. I just couldn't understand that failure is not the opposite of success, but a part of it. The times when we struggle to get past things, they aren't permanent obstacles, but are instead learning opportunities. They make you realize that you can still work harder and continuously strive for personal growth. There wasn't a flaw in me. Grade 11 is very challenging compared to grade 10, but not so challenging that it's impossible. It just needed a little more perseverance and self belief. And soon enough, I realized this. My family and friends were instrumental in this realization. They constantly reminded me of my capabilities and motivated me to put in the extra effort, which made me cognizant of reality. This whole experience gave me a clearer understanding of how we should not worry about other people's opinions and perceptions of us, as they are just unnecessary burden. But the key takeaway from all this was not to get easily disheartened after a bit of a struggle, and most importantly, not to be ashamed of it. It does not matter if you keep hitting the rim and not get a basket, but what truly matters is you working hard to get that basket without dropping your bundle.